And we're back, and I am here to do my civic duty to share with you all another gentleman's experience. One I have mentioned before, but not in the level of detail that I'm going to share with you today. I'm simply going to help amplify this man's voice because, like many out there who have been led down the primrose path and offered a screamingly cheap lease deal in exchange for the keys to a Dodge Charger Daytona EV, it turned out to be a nightmare. And this nightmare has led to a situation where I'm going to let you hear it straight from his mouth, his words, because his 7-year-old daughter literally got pinched and trapped by the car, like by the technology, by the electronics in the car. And when you hear this, those of you out there like me who have children, I think about my daughter, and that car would get literally dropped off at the dealership and left there. And my attorney would have handled everything from there after I had my daughter speak to a therapist to have to explain why she now is scared to death to get into the backseat of a car. And I'm not about fragility in any way, and my daughter's a tough kid, but I don't need extra drama brought into her life by a freaking car. And while this could easily be perceived as an exaggeration, I don't think it is. I think it's downright astonishing because all you have to do is start to figure how many other circumstances could this have happened. I've sent my daughter to my car, 100 times to grab things out of the back seat, grab things out of the trunk, grab things I forgot, grab my briefcase with my laptop, grab stuff out of the car, only to have something like I'm about to share with you all happen. But before we get to that punchline, which you're going to want to hear this part, I'm going to share with you his video because I got a post on, I think it was Facebook, David Strickland. Thank you, David, for pinging me with this because I believe, talk about this car before, or it's another orange one. And in this case, the man named Nicholas Sherritt started a YouTube channel, and he unfortunately is sitting at 2 subscribers because I'm assuming his channel's new, or at least new to uploading. And in 23 hours, he's gotten 447 views, which is really good for 2 subscribers. I was there, so I know. But unfortunately, it's not enough to get the word out. So I'm going to jump over and share this with you. And here is his video. And I'm going to play it, and I may chime in here and there, but I wanted you to see it. I would love you to go to his channel. I'll put a link in the description below. Subscribe, and I'm hoping he will post more videos so we can learn about how he unravels this saga and nightmare with this Daytona over time. Let's go ahead and just share with you let's start off with how he got into this thing.
I'll try to make this as brief as possible, but there's a lot to cover. So let's just get started with looking around the car while I give you a little bit of detail on why I leased the car. I did not buy the car, I leased the car because I was seeing where people were getting some pretty incredible lease deals, especially on these RTs, as Dodge has decided to do away with them, and plus they weren't selling anyways, so they had to do something to get them out.
So I just want to chime in here and say that I'm not a conspiracy theorist necessarily, but it seems like that's what's going around in the universe right now. So I was frustrated because I legitimately considered buying or leasing one of these things because I saw the lease deals across the country. $199 a month, $49 a month, $349 a month, amazing lease deals. And it would just seem like a no-brainer just to pick one up, to experience it, and be able to speak from a position of an owner while I go through the drama. It would be an extra car. It would just be a test car, if you will, that it cost me a little money, that your amazing views and support of the channel would basically make it free so that I can entertain you with my my drama. So unfortunately, the lease deals don't exist in California. I searched everywhere. I drove the dealerships. I didn't video all those, but I did video a few of them, and I can't find them. They were full blown, like they have discounts on MSRP and stuff, but there was nothing, no lease specials out here in California. And I thought it was just because California's an EV state, despite the blackouts every year. And maybe that's why, because, they didn't need to. And the average household income is really high because it's really expensive to live out here. I chalked up to those things. But now I remembered why something one of my old brokers said to me many years ago. He said, Brad, in California, when somebody says, I'm going to sue you if you don't do this or that, he said, believe them, because they will. My attorney said the reason why he gets paid so much in Orange County, and especially just in Southern California, he says, because everyone has a lawyer. Everyone has a kid who's a lawyer, an uncle who's a lawyer, a friend who's a lawyer. There's lawyers on every corner in California out there trying to make money, taking any case they possibly can because the dollars are large. So I can't help but to suspect that maybe that's why they didn't make these lease deals available out here. And maybe in states that the lemon laws aren't as friendly to the consumer, maybe that's the reason why. I don't know why. I'm just guessing here, but he bought one. He leased one for the cheap price. But let's look at what's going on with this car.
But one of the very first things I noticed, and thank God, the day we took delivery of this, I took pictures of the car all the way around, because one of the very first things that I noticed on the car when we got it home was that this door was misaligned. It was actually raised up quite a bit right there, and it just didn't look quite right if you followed the body lines. About 3 weeks in, I came out here to get into it, and when I opened the door, I noticed this. Like it was rubbing in 3 spots. There, and then down here at the bottom, we've got some paint, like it's rubbed through the paint. And then over here, you can see here, and then down here once again, looks like it's metal to metal. So I took it back to Wetzel, and which I need to bring up right there that Wetzel's about over 100 miles from here. So I've got a 7,500 mile a year lease on this vehicle. I'm burning up over 200 miles taking it back to them because they had a body shop. And they tell me that they call me up a couple days after my appointment. Car's ready to pick up. I said, what'd you do? They said, well, we adjusted the door for you, but Stellantis refuses to paint it. And furthermore, they told me that that's not metal to metal, that it's flashing, where it's where someone in the factory actually attempted to fix this before shipping it to the dealership. So I'm not exactly sure who that falls on, whether it's Dodge for even sending the car out looking like that, or is it Wetzel's problem because they obviously would have PDI'd this car, so they should have noticed that and flagged it right off the bat. So, I'm not really sure there, but.
So think about this. He leased this car. So now here's how this goes. Wetzel didn't catch it. He gets the car, takes it in, gets the door fixed, basically, so it's aligned right, hopefully. Now he's got scratches inside the door. Now what happens when he goes to turn it in 2 years later or 3 years later at the end of the lease? Of course, nobody remembers any of this stuff. Sure, there's a record of the repair, but the scratches are still there. Do they try to nail him for those on the lease return, for the condition report? That's why I would demand it gets fixed, or I would demand something in writing saying that you will not be responsible for this upon lease return.
But regardless, I'm left holding the bag. I've got a car that's brand new with the damage that you just saw, and a dealership and a car manufacturer who says, oh, well, your problem. Wow. So the second biggest issue that I've had,
this is nuts,
is that this trunk button right here, now this is an RT, and there's no release button inside whatsoever, which that was a huge, huge design mistake, Dodge. There should have been more than one way to open this hatch. On these key fobs, I don't know if this will focus right, there we go. There is no place on the fob to open the rear end of this car. So this does not work. It does not work. It has not worked from day one. When Wetzel was there, I can press this 100 times. I've got the key in my pocket. It will not open. I took my kids to their ball game one night, and it opened. This was like within the first couple weeks of having the car. It opened, put their stuff in, drove to the ball fields. When we got there, it wouldn't open. So we had to drag their stuff out through the car. When I asked Wetzel about this, they said, well, we'll do the updates, the software updates on the vehicle. And ever since they did those software updates when they adjusted the door, that has not worked. Not one time in 5 weeks. I have not been able to open that rear hatch.
Unreal.
Not one time in 5 weeks. So one of the other things that started happening was that the passive entry would not work. So what I would have to do, and it works about 50% of the time. Right now, it's working because I just pulled the car out, but once I think it goes to sleep, it starts having that issue again. But when it doesn't work, I physically have to come over, get in the car myself, and then press the button to open the door for my passenger.
Wow. Brand new car. Brand
One
new
other
car.
thing I just want to say about this hatch, and again, like I said, I've got the key in my pocket. I'm holding it right here, pressing the button. It doesn't work. It pretty much renders this car useless if you want to carry anything. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't stop by the convenience store. You can't pick anything up for your wife. You can't do anything. If you want to load something into this car, you have to open the door, pull the seat forward, move this out of the way, fold this down, and then shove your stuff back in there. And, you know, it would have been nice, Dodge, if you could have put, you know, a manual release back there, which I know there is one, but it's buried. And I'm not going to climb back there and remove a panel and pull a lever every time I need to get in and out of this vehicle. It would have been nice if you could have put something up here that would have popped that hatch. And even if you would have put it up there, would it have worked? Because the button on the back doesn't work, so it doesn't give me much confidence that anything else would have. But I just can't overstate that enough.
So remember, it's important we stop and just acknowledge this. They gave him back the car, not working. Like, think of all the times in your life of owning cars where it breaks, you take it to the shop fixes it, you check it, it's fine, you take it with you. In this case, with this car, unique to this car, is you take it in, the dealer does updates, does everything they can, and then says, sorry, we did everything we can. Here's your car. And now he leaves, unable to use the hatchback, and the scuffed up, scratched up door, and passive entry issues because it's software. They just updated the software and said, well, hope that fixes it. Thing is, it's the same software update that they will use on every single one of the cars that come in. So why, if it's software, doesn't it map properly so that the features of the car work? That's where things are very strange and weird with this car, why I think part of the reason they're getting rid of the RT, but people with Scat Packs are having nightmare issues. Is what's the answer? Just wait till they come out with something else. I know they're coming out with another update in like August or something, and he's just got to wait and hope that solves it, or get a lawyer, lemon law this thing, and move on. And after what you see coming up here, I'd be over it at this point.
Not having access to the rear of this vehicle renders this entire vehicle practically useless. One other issue is that it's already had a recall, which some of you may already be aware of. I think the internet poked a little fun that we went from being loud with the Hemi Chargers to quiet with this thing.
But you can't make this stuff up.
An open recall right now for an amplifier that may not have been programmed properly at the factory, which makes this too quiet for national safety standards. Pedestrians have to be able to hear you when you're backing, so on and so forth. And some of these were not programmed properly. The last time I was into the dealership, Herrnstein, I took it in for the passive entry and for the hatch and for the seat issue, and they addressed the recall at that time, and they told me that this vehicle passed the decibel reading that it needed, so there was no update or replacement parts needed for this particular Charger. So there's a couple other things I want to go over, and that's going to be pretty much it for now. But the Uconnect and the Wi-Fi hotspot in the car, and I'll post pictures up of the messages that I'm getting. But I'm getting error messages almost every time I turn the car on. It pops up with a warning message saying that it's disabled or doesn't work, and to take it in for service. But probably the biggest problem that I've had with this car, and I'll demonstrate this now, is that this seat right here, that one is manual. You saw me move it in the video. This one is automatic. So my daughter, she doesn't get out on this side. As a matter of fact, she doesn't even want to be around the car anymore after this happened.
Oh, I can imagine.
She was sitting on this side, and we got home, and I went to let her out, and the seat will start forward automatically on its own.
Watch this.
And then watch what happens when it gets up to the forward position.
It's like an episode of Saw.
It automatically starts backwards on its own. So what happened was that my daughter was trying to climb out of this space, and the seat, I walked away, and the seat started backwards on its own. And I heard her start calling out for help. She's, "Help me, Dad. Help me, I'm stuck. Help me." And so I ran back around the back of the car here, and I came, and what she had done is when she was trying to get out, she didn't get out quick enough. She got kind of caught up in the belt a little bit, and she wasn't able to get out fast enough. And she grabbed the seat and pulled it back on herself.
Logical.
And when she did that, and the seat came back on its own, it pinched her between this area right here. If you can imagine, I mean, that's my furthest reach is 8 inches, thumb to middle finger. So she had about a 4-inch, maybe 5-inch gap here. When I got over to her, her entire body was trapped between this seat and this B-pillar. And she was very upset. Thank God she wasn't hurt. But why, Dodge? Why is it that whenever this seat goes forward, why doesn't it stay forward? Why would it start back on its own?
That makes no sense.
Trapping a small child like my 7-year-old daughter. I just don't understand that. Why would you design something that would do that? Or is that another flaw of this vehicle?
So I won't take you through the rest because he just shares a little bit more about experience. Go check his channel out. Watch the rest of the video. But that's the part I wanted to share with you all. And I don't think that's too extreme. I want you to think. A 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, my fat 55-year-old ass messing around in the back of that thing and ends up pulling it back and getting my ass pinched in there and not able to get out. I mean, it could kill somebody. It could certainly severely piss somebody off. And I think that's just something, somebody's brain isn't working right when they program this car. Why does the seat go up and then immediately and automatically start going back, knowing that somebody getting out is going to grab that seat for leverage and pull it back, and very likely just pinch themselves in? If they're doing it all in one fell swoop, the seat's slowly coming back, they grab the back, they pull it back, they still have room, they go to get out, and then the thing just pinches them in the car and suffocates them or something. I mean, that's insane. This car is so, it just gets worse and worse. That does blow my mind, and that does kind of piss me off because, you know, we all have kids, or at least those of us that do, think, you know, I can handle getting myself stuck in there, and if that's how I go, that's how I go. But I don't want a family member trying to get groceries out of the back and grabs the seat, pulls it back, and my wife gets stuck in there. And anybody else I care about or love. I mean, it's just unbelievable. That right there I had to share with you all as, if anything, be careful Do not get in between that seat and that side of that car and pull that thing back, because apparently it's just going to keep coming back and you're going to be in a fight for your life, which is ridiculous. And at best case scenario, you're going to be in a fight for your humility, because if I was stuck in that door, my wife found me there, breathing and still alive, I promise you she'd take a whole lot of pictures and put them online before she had set me loose. So Dodge, come on, get it together. That needs to be fixed. But I don't have a lot of faith in them. They haven't fixed much yet. So go check out Nicholas Sherritt's channel, link in the description below. I'm going to go ahead and hit subscribe myself here while I'm on it and help the guy out. And please be careful with these things, and I'll keep bringing you the information and try to amplify this stuff, so maybe Dodge will step up, get these things fixed sooner, and also put out some warnings, like warnings about that seat. That might be a good start. So please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.